Hey there, miners. Rusty coming at you with part 3 of Rusty's Nuggets. And in this video, we're going to talk about blades, knives with blades around that 3.5 inch length. I've been talking about, I did under 3 up to 3 inches. I did a 3 to a 3.5, and now I'm trying to get anything in 3.5 and a little longer. And so we'll talk about that. Some of these don't quite fit the category in length, and I'm not really going to judge these. We're not comparing the knives against each other so much. We're comparing the knives against their price and just overall fit, finish, blade steel choices, use. How much I find myself carrying them, how much personally I enjoy the knife. So we'll talk about these. We got the CRK igniter, we got the free Tiger FT11, the CJRB feldspar, we have a Vortex. I don't have a name for that. I got a Effengrau 957, I want to say, the Harns Maverick. This is a 6-leaf SL02. Okay, so we'll get back to that one. What else we got? We got the Cold Steel Finwolf. Thanks to my buddy Frog. Donated that to the channel. We have the Kubey Titus, I think it is. It's a 322. I'll get you that number in a second. Civivi Brazen, Gonzo D727, Sencut Actium, Gonzo G729, and the Civivi, oh boy, Dogma. Okay, so let's go over each of these. So this one is a Safe Queen. This one is a CRKT igniter. It's in 8CR. I want to say 13, maybe it's 14 MOV. And it's a Ken Stallwalt design. And some of the things about this, the reason I got this, it has a couple of things that I think are innovative in the knife world. It has what they call VEF serrations, and I'll tell you, those are some badass serrations. Those suckers are sharp. Okay, good lockup. As far as CKRT goes, I think I have 4 or 5 of their knives. None of them have knocked my socks off. It does stay centered pretty well. And when you push, what you do is you push this down, and then you can push the knife out, and then it's spring assisted. Okay. So as far as the blade length on this goes, it's pretty darn long. And really, for the overall size of the knife, we get 4 fingers on there. It's just kind of a long, pointy blade, but it'll cut. But it is my Safe Queen, and what I do, I have a Pelican box with my spring-assisted knives. I save them store them in the open position. My thinking is you're not going to lose any tension on that spring. So hopefully 10, 20, 25, 30 years down the road, you'll still have some spring tension. So does not have tip down carry. I think it's a good knife. I just don't think it's ADC. Oh, and I think I found this one for $20 brand new on eBay, but they go crazy prices, $40, $50, even $60, and they're discontinued. So they're out there. You can get them. Free Tiger FT11 comes in 14C28N, and they actually do a nice job. So as far as the blade on this one goes, this is a very nice blade for you guys. Rest of the knife, well, not the best. The G10 is actually, it just feels like plastic. I don't even know if it's G10. Action's really good. So very good. Access to thumb studs, not the best if you play with it. Thumb or fiddler tab is pretty good. So to carry it, it's not that great. The pocket clip goes under here, and it doesn't have, it might be inset in there, maybe to hold it, to keep it from going side to side. But it's a big honker, interferes with your hand, so I got it like this. What's this one running? I think you can find this one under 25 bucks. So for the money, it's really not bad. Consider this is 14C 28N, and we can kind of talk about that in a later video. So CJRB. This one is a feldspar, and it's in carbon fiber, and I paid 50 bucks for it. And ergos are good. It's got AR RPM 9 steel, which I actually think I'm okay with. It's nice. It's a powder metal steel that they're using exclusive to this CJRB artesian cutlery, and they're supposed to get the benefits of D2 with 14C. The edge retention of D2 and the corrosion of 14C 28N. This one did not come centered, and I worked like a bugger to get it centered, and it doesn't stay centered. I bought 2 feldspars from the CJRB, and I had trouble with them. In fact, I don't know if we can see on this one. I think it's starting to wear the finish here. And yeah, because of that, this blade would close and it hit the side there. And the disc, I'm not happy with that, right? So that's why that is where it is. You guys may disagree, but that's what happens, right? You gotta build your knives right. This for 25 bucks is amazing. This is that Vortec. It's an 8CR 13 MOV. The G10 on here is very good. The hand deep carry pocket clip, the milling. You guys should find out the videos on these. Lockup. So I did receive these knives from the manufacturer, but I do believe for 25 bucks you get a nice deal here. This is just a nice carry knife, not too heavy. It's going to perform for you as good as any 8CR13 MOV knife. So I mean, if you're going to put your money in something, not a bad choice. Okay, Effing Ground 957, I want to say. I can't tell you 100% if the D2 is real. LTK's tested it. I'm not showing you much in the line of my Effing Ground collection or my Tucson collection, but I do have many. I maybe have 10 Effing Grounds, and they all run mid-20s, like 25 bucks. And there's a couple standouts, and this is one of them. The G10's not the best in the industry, and I have dyed it. On the flipper tab, okay, we got some jimping there, but very nice snappiness, good lockup, and really good action for 26 bucks. Great ergos. I really like this knife. I like the blade grind. If you take a look at the 950 in my previous video, yeah, this knife has style. This knife has some good action and good price. Good price. Okay, so we're comparing this next one, the Harns Maverick, now at $41. I do believe Harns does a great job on their heat treat, both on their D2 and they have 14C 28N blade steel. So we're looking at D2 here. We got some really nice G10. We got some finish with this pivot collar. We got some jimping here. Really, really aggressive jimping out here. Harpoon blade shape. What's kind of funny to me is the length of the blade to handle ratio. Now it does come out, you know, they get almost to the end, but then they put these things on there, and we'll come back to that later. But nice action, nice blade. It's painted, so I'm not big on that. Sharpening choil. Ergos are really pretty decent. I can feel the pocket clip. But boy, take a look at that. That's a deep carry pocket clip. So I'm rating that one pretty good. I am going to rate this one above it. It's heavier. And I'll go over why. This is a rattlesnake design. This is 6-leaf SL2. I did receive this knife from the manufacturer. Deep carry pocket clip, very standard. We have milling inside here. Oh, we were getting a good look at that. There you can see it, kind of a ladder frame. Really good micarta, which very much competes with that G10 for texture and all kinds of things. Now here's where it's sort of separate the weight from the shaft. When we move up, we got a little bring your finger forward thing, so we can use our hand back here, get 4 fingers on it, get our thumb out there if we want, and we can come forward. And this knife, all of a sudden, it has that extra dip right up there. And just this blade shape with this profile, it's very useful blade, and it's got some really very comparable, very competitive action. So very fidgety. I don't remember, these are maybe $35 to $45. Stays centered. So very happy with this knife. Okay. Although I don't care for D2. Okay, guys. Moving on, and this is from Frog. Thank you, Frog. Now, oh boy, destroyed my camera here. Okay, what we have here is the Cold Steel Finwolf. And so we're talking about carrying a knife, and this one is in Oz 8. If you guys know anything about Cold Steel, they treat their blades right. So you can get some amazing performance out of a simple steel like Oz 8. Then we got this, I don't know if it's a Grivex handle, exactly what it is. I don't even think we have steel liners in this sucker, and something known as a triad lock. So this knife is slim, this knife is safe, and this knife you can use. Ergos are pretty good. Got a little bit kind of grab you right there, but you can use this. You can grab a hold of it. It carries well, it's lightweight, and it's going to work. So this one might be a little bit on the small side with the blade with the rest of these. Let's grab something like, yeah, but it's going to do the same amount of work or more work than this knife. So that's just my opinion here. How are we looking here? But maybe I should have had this one in the other video up to 3.5 instead of the 3.5 and bigger. But here it is now. $40 knife, well worth the money. If you're looking for a knife and not some fidget toy, this one is a good one. Okay, you're looking for a fidget toy, here you are. And this one I got in jade. I did dye this one yellow. It's showing up different on the camera than it is in real life. It's not this yellow. And then, of course, after I got it and dyed it, they made one from the factory in yellow. Buggers. We got a nice coated blade. I mean, this thing, Has almost everything you want. Let's talk about that. We got a very tall, flat grind. We got a fuller. Okay. We got a deep carry pocket clip, recessed screws. We got milling in the liner. We have fantastic action. We got flipper deployment. We got finger deployment. And we got thumb deployment. You can't ask for much more except just a little bit narrower here. As my fingers, just the width of this knife in my hand, it's a bunch to hold on to. And I got a large hand, not extra large. Great jimping and a nice move forward position. So if you want to move forward, we can do it. I should have brought my Spyderco Mannix too, because that's what this knife reminds me of. Maybe in the next video, or maybe I'll get one together, compare these two. Okay, next we have a tie for second place with all four of these knives. Okay, there is no top 5 knives here. We got a top like 7 knives. All right, these aren't even top knives. Love my Civivi brazen. I love the action on this. This is a Civivi that has good access to the lock bar. Okay, I love we got finger flip, we got thumb studs, and we got flipper. And flipper is push button, flipper is light switch, thumb studs are thumb studs are finger flick. G10, it's thin. The G10 is very good. The ergos are very good. Pocket clip is nice. Recessed screws. It's light. It's milled out. $50. A little bit thick behind the edge. Not a perfect slicer, but it's a Tanto, and it might be for hard use. It's running on bearings, so remember that if you're using it as a work knife. It's on bearings. It means you got to keep it out of sawdust, dirt, dust, that kind of stuff. Does not have an external stop pin. What's that? There's no pin showing here to stop the blade. They rotate around inside, and they're going to lock up on this frame. There's little grooves in there. I don't know. For a work knife, I like a external stop pin, but yes. Yes. Highly recommend. Okay, moving on. Scanzo 727 D2. I'm going to say it. This D2 probably going to be able to compete with Civivi D2. Flat grind. Thumb stud deployment only. Civivi has a better jimping here, but this might have a safer lock. You can use this knife harder than that knife, in my opinion. Okay, there's that external blade stop, body pins, not quite as deep carry, but this G-lock. And for fidgety, I mean, it only gives you, it's a fidgety knife, but money-wise, about $30. So $20 less. It'll do everything except for fidget as much, and it's a little bit heavier. Doesn't carry as discreetly. All right, what do we have here? Sencut Actium. This is a nice knife, guys. This is also like the brazen with the fidgetability of thumb studs and flipper tab. The action is very fun. This is a knife you can just kind of find yourself playing with. Very nice carry, deep carry pocket clip. Stays, take it apart and it comes, it centers on its own practically. It stays centered, has a move forward position. It has jimping, effective jimping. Has a funky type handle in that when you get it in your hand, you'll see how it bends down. But what that's doing is when you go to cut something, it's allowing you to get your hand, use all that part of the blade. I like that. if your blade just comes straight out here, your knuckles are going to, you know what this does is allows your hand, it moves your knuckles up and lets the blade make contact with whatever you're cutting. Looks like I got a little oil. Let me get that wiped up. D2, thin grind. So it's a hard use knife, but it's not a hard use in the fashion, in the sense of, you know, prying kind of a thing, getting after it, twisting kind of a thing. But boy, good slicer. Let's see how we did. I put my own edge on here, so yeah, that's okay. Yeah, you know, for D2, I like a little bit of a toothier edge, but I do have a diamond. I finish it with a 9 micron gunny juice, so it does sharpen well. Action, fantastic. Gotta go here, running kind of low on time. Gonzo G729, I kind of just released a video on this one, and the Gonzo 727. This is the version of kind of like a Spyderco what do I want to call that? Paramilitary 2. Without the compression lock. It has a G-lock, has 440C. Love 440C. I don't care. It sharpens great. It's rust resistant. It's tough. It's just a well-balanced steel. We'll talk someday about more about steels. But yeah. Sorry about that, guys. Hit my camera. Making a mess here. Lock. I feel safe with the lock. And it has a very useful blade shape with this flat grind and a drop point. And you can move up into this position here, get next to that blade. So for EDC, very nice knife. For the money, very nice knife. Not fidgetability, it's safe, and it works. Okay, this was a hard one because, right, so I just based upon how much I carry them. But in the sense of the size, this a dogma, sense of the blade shape, let's see here, you know, hollow grinds, same kind of blade length. This one is more fidgety and probably cuts every bit as good, if not better than this. This one, though, has a, you know, tremendous belly. I find myself using this belly a lot. And I love this knife. And you guys aren't going to find this knife. This version is G10 with Damascus. You will find G10 with D2. And this, by the way, is discontinued. And because of that, this knife doesn't have a price per se. $50 G10 with D2 and about $85 with brass. You could get G10, and Damascus for $85. I'm going to call this one about a $65 knife because I put together a brass knife. This one had brass and Damascus, and I bought a G10 and D2 and swapped the blades. Okay, lockup, not as good. Access to the lock bar, not that great. Doesn't quite drop as well as the Sencut or the Brazen. Flips out, very satisfying. Ergos are perfect. I very much like this. Move up, like I said. Good agility with this blade. I'm bouncing around like a frog here. And it's just a nice EDC for Rusty. I go to the office 5 days a week. It's a lightweight knife. It fits the hand. It does, use it for a lot of things. Very useful. So one of my favorites. Surprised me. I kind of just threw this together when I sat down. And you can kind of guess what's coming up. But before we get in there, I just wanted to show you think it's this one. Yeah, this is what I was doing before this. So if you take a peek at these two knives, they're actually very... Okay, let's get down here. They're very close in overall length. But if we compare, the length of these blades, okay. I guess what I'm trying to say is somehow this Harns just seems like it has a big handle for the length of the blade. And even the Sencut does the same thing. But I think we got a little bit more blade on the Sencut. Maybe I'm wrong. Sorry guys, sidetracked. Preview of what's coming next. A knife that was really hard to keep out of this pile is the Gonzo Route 1. But even if we compare it to, just blade wise, yeah, that Route 1 just in the next category. So look for that coming up. You'll see a Raven and you'll see a Harns Falcon as well as some others. Thanks for sticking with the miner. Ciao.